I'm getting a little frustrated. Now, there's a number of points to be made here. Firstly, it is a very real thing that our president, and I'm a United States citizen, I don't care if you believe me, I am. Donald Trump knows this, and Donald Trump is trying to save the world in a very real way. His stated goal, that I think is very important, is to end war. Which is equally important, in my opinion, is to share healthcare equally amongst all members, firstly of the United States. Because you've got to lead by example. Now, I believe it's just as important to share life-extending technology amongst all members of our species, which I define as the mitochondrial leaf zygote offspring. Now, whether you define it in that way or not, I couldn't care less. There are others who define it that way. Which others? Guess. It's not a matter of guessing as to whether Donald Trump, Mr. President, sir, with all due respect, I would never speak out of turn against you, as you know. Now, for all I know, my Uncle Larry might have had lunch with Donald Trump once. I wouldn't have a clue. I don't know. I'm not suggesting that. It's not impossible, though. Anyway, Donald Trump has stated his goal is to end war and to advance humanity to a point where it would be acceptable for us to reach a survivability checkpoint that would include colonising another planet like Mars. Now, whether Donald Trump and Elon Musk have fallouts that are public in the political sphere or not is irrelevant. The point is that in very real ways, Donald Trump is the only man that has any chance of saving the species you call humans, which I call the mitochondrial Eve zygote offspring. Now, whether I talk about survivability checkpoint 1 being colonising 2 planets, so if one of them gets destroyed by like a big meteorite or something, humans have a chance of surviving because there'll be 2 colonies, Mars and Earth. And it doesn't even matter if the Mars colony, once it's established, exists on a planet with 1/3 the gravity of the Earth. Doesn't matter. That once you're conceived, born, live and die on a planet with 1/3 the gravity of the Earth, maybe 3 generations go past, you don't think humans are going to get different? You don't think they're going to have less need for a skeleton to support them because there's less gravity, so they'll probably be a bit taller. They might even have bigger heads because there's less gravity to fight against. It doesn't even matter if my dual cosmos model is correct or not in explaining where the dark matter is, the cosmic expansion mystery. So many more things that I am not even going to bother telling you now. Even if the anti-cosmos, by extending Newtonian principles of physics, where every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and the birth of our cosmos comes from nothing, infinite mass in nothing. How do you get smaller than possibly small scale down? Imagine it goes bang, and outside the edges of the rushing out cosmos, you've got a scale larger. Duh. Whether you have to leap leapfrog scale down and leapfrog scale up. I'm not even going to explain the principles behind that right now. It doesn't even matter that antimatter creation in our cosmos, the positive cosmos, might take dark matter from the anti-cosmos. It doesn't even matter. The accelerating rate of expansion of the cosmos is slowing down. The accelerating rate of expansion is slowing down. It's been measured. It has. In this magazine. This one. There's an article. Cosmic Expansion Mystery Solved question mark. I'm not going to bother reading it to you. I'm not going to. I'm not going to bother explaining why. That gives humans in the future the ability to determine whether we have a big rip as the end of the cosmos where everything rips apart, whether we convert enough energy from the anti-cosmos by creating annihilation of events here with antimatter we create. The energy is released hugely, possibly taking energy from the anti-cosmos where the dark matter is. And I'm not even going to explain, not even going to bother explaining that if we can design an experiment around the creation and annihilation event of antimatter with matter that humans have been doing since, at least I know, when I worked at Peter MacCallum Cancer Institute in Melbourne, at the old campus when it was in East Melbourne, we had positron emission tomography in the year 2000 that uses antimatter. Now, whether or not you can extend that and say, well, maybe the anti-cosmos that happened when to be created at the same time as ours was at the Big Bang. Everything coming from nothing. Some of the energy went into the anti-cosmos. So missing, maybe it's a third or half of the energy that was supposed to come in this one. Maybe it didn't coalesce, like bubbles form in soda, and it's not actually easy if you know partial pressure, the principles behind it. Maybe in our cosmos, maybe matter formed. Maybe in the anti-cosmos, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. If it formed in our cosmos, what would happen? Clump together and you get planets eventually and stars and stuff. The other one you might not. But imagine everything has an equal and opposite reaction, and the anti-cosmos has antimatter and anti-gravity. Imagine that. Imagine even if time went in the opposite direction. Time's not linear. Everyone knows about folding the piece of paper back around and creating a wormhole. Time and space. Well, I'm not even going to bother to explain about the fact that when we can locate this dark matter, which is probably not coalesced between the galaxies, like a cloud, and it's pushing against the galaxies, making them rush apart further and further and faster, not slow down, as the kinetic energy of the explosion is dragged on by gravity and slowly slowed down. That's not happening. It's rushing faster and faster because there's some mysterious, unknown and unexplainable, apparently, even by the person who solved two birds with one stone by combining the answer to the chicken and the egg puzzle with the unstoppable, immovable problem. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object at the centre of a black hole, where the unstoppable force is gravity and the immovable object is the singularity, which is the space-time and gravity singularity at the centre of the black hole. Now, I did combine that with the answer to the chicken and the egg puzzle, so my absolute trivial solutions. You could say, everyone's a genius in hindsight, couldn't you? I'm going to post a summary of the Cosmotica on YouTube. Just can't do it on Facebook because you can only put videos of 10-minute length. Now, one day the sun's going to run out of hydrogen as its main fuel and it's going to expand and the Earth won't even be habitable, it'll be toast. That's survivability checkpoint 2. Now, I'm not even gonna, I don't even know why I'm bothering explaining this to mitochondrial offspring. Except I know that Donald Trump's aware of some of these things because you don't have to know that you don't even have to be that smart. Like, how many people do you know in the CIA? Oh, what an idiot Jason is because he knows that there's CIA Paulista Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools in Maui. Now, if that's not where you go and train and hang out around the water fountain, I don't know what is. That makes me crazy nuts, doesn't it? I haven't even trained with them, but I did sing La Bamba with them at 6 a.m. in the morning. Once. I did in Maui. And so what if I gave them 24 consecutive AA prefix uncirculated Sam Cruiser dust notes from 1986 as a gift? They have no idea who I am whatsoever. How many people do you know in the CIA? Well, I don't care how many you know because I can't name anyone in it. I only attended CIA Paulista Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school because I love them and respect them. That's the thing. So it's impossible that anyone in the United States could possibly even know who I am. Now, Sonia, thanks for having my back. The science tech distribution, that was good. Anyway, Donald Trump is the only person that can save this planet because he's the only one trying to stop wars. Now listen to this. The leaders of the Khmer Rouge survived in the jungle, didn't they? Now what have we got on the news? Cambodia and a neighbouring country is dealing with the reappearance of the Khmer Rouge on the planet Earth. Aren't they? So, who saw the movie The Killing Fields? Who's not upset about the fact? Whether you call it Kampuchea, Cambodia, doesn't matter. Who's happy about the fact that the Khmer Rouge leaders survived by living in the jungle? And now, what's happening? What is our president doing? Trying to save the world. Now, Donald Trump is the only person I trust to save planet Earth. Whether the UAPs that the United States government has admitted are in this planet or not, when they come in 2019, they started getting more busy after I got one of those really high-powered lasers, really high-powered, you can light a cigarette with them. Try telling the Maori cops what they can and can't do, because the Maori coppers might have done a really good thing by ignoring the fact that I put that high-powered laser beam on a fence, pointing up for 2 solid days. You know I'd do that. But they could have seen it from the Newborough Cricket Club. Hey, how's it going? My mate's in the Maui Cricket Club, but up Nibby Coppers. You know? I like the coppers, I love them. What's wrong with that, huh? You got a problem with that? I don't care. My life had gone different, I would have been a copper. But these hands, right? They're not evil hands, are they? Are they? These are not evil hands, are they? Mitochondrial offspring. Now, whether or not you know about in the playground, of the playground, on the playground, and what that means, that doesn't matter. Whether you've looked on my Facebook or not, I don't care. Alright? I don't care. All I care about is our President Donald J. Trump's attempt to save the world with his stated goal to end wars and trying to change the perception of the need for greed to rule over healthcare. Donald Trump had Regeneron and stated it was his goal to make it available for all Americans. I really appreciate that, sir. Donald Trump, Mr. President, sir. Now, I don't care if you're like me, a monarchist. I don't care what you think about why I support Donald Trump. Because mitochondria lives a lot of string, you are being judged, not by me. What do you think the UAPs want? They're not interested in our technology. Doesn't matter if it's us from the future, because we figure out a way to locate dark matter some mysterious way, whether it is an experiment designed around the annihilation of antimatter with matter. Because where's the energy coming from? Now, a wormhole, it's relatively easy to